All right, here we go. We have NBA royalty in the building. Tim Hardaway and Charles Oakley. Welcome to VladTV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I'm glad you guys were able to finally sit down and, sit down with me. In fact, Charles, I've been bothering your wife for an interview now for the last few months.
Yeah, she telling me, everybody was telling. I said, well, I got to, make sure this book get out until we have something else to talk about. But now, you came through the back door and got me anyway.
I came through the back door.
That's the fly still got in the house some kind of way.
Well, first of all, let's talk about why you guys are here. So you guys are doing the 5 tournament.
Right.
Okay. So, Tim, tell me about this.
Well, the 5 tournament is a group of guys that played on different teams like the Miami Heat, New York Knicks, Texas. Is divided up of, 3 teams, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. Then you have Toronto, Miami, and Chicago. And these guys played with these teams before, and they know about all the rivalries. This is about rivalry basically. And it's about these teams knowing about the rivalry, playing against, when it was back in the 90s, the Bulls and the Knicks, the Heat, the Knicks, the Heat, the Bulls. And so it's a tournament where these guys get a chance to keep playing basketball, something that they love to do. And it's totally different. They come out here and it's almost like the Big Three, but it's not like the Big Three. You got some stuff similar, but a lot of things not. You have at end of quarters, if you in a bonus, you get to put a 4th guy on the court, and you could double team, or you can make an easy play for yourself. But if you score a basket, the guy comes off. If you don't score a basket, the 4th guy stays on for 60 seconds. So for a minute. So it's a lot to know of, and it's competitive and it's fun. And these guys, they've been itching to play for the last 5 months. And they've been taking care of their bodies. A lot of these guys people don't know that they've been in training, they've been working out, they've been making sure their bodies that is in shape and healthy. And yesterday, the 3 games that I called, man, I was impressed. I was very happy for them because they had a lot of fun and they missed the game. So it's just about rivalries and kind of bringing back the rivalries to show everybody that they still are rivalries when these teams get together.
Okay, and you guys aren't actually playing.
No, come on, man. No,
just talk about it.
That's it.
So there's no way to get you guys back on the court like this.
No. I play
walk
horse.
On the court to get to the seat or something.
Yeah. We walk across the court to get to the seat, or we might shoot a ball, show them that we can still shoot the ball. But other than that, that's it.
That's it. Okay. And I guess part of this whole tournament is there's going to be a battle of the sexes.
Battle of the sexes?
Yeah, they play Thursday evening. Women against the men.
Yeah.
And some of the men was talking about, they're going to rough them up a little bit. They're going to show them what, physicality is about. And I was like, hey, you can't rough them up too much.
Right.
Watch what you do. Just play good, steady basketball. And just try to win the game. That's about it. But don't try to hurt nobody, and don't try to be that much physical than they are.
Okay, so is it going to be WNBA players of the same age range as these other players, or is it going to be younger women?
I think it's going to be WNBA players the same age that still are active at 35, 34, 36, around that age. And they're going to come out here and play. Some of them are not playing in the WNBA, so with the startup. So some of them might be coming. I'm not for sure yet because, every day it changes. But it's going to be competitive. You best believe that.
I mean, can you guys imagine a female player actually getting into the actual NBA at some point?
They've been trying to get a female coach, so sooner or later, it's always one going to happen. It's some girls back in the days, I mean, could really play basketball. I mean, maybe the one or two were inside probably been too physical, but maybe the wing or something. I think a couple of females could have played back in the day. So they had some girls who really could play, especially, Cheryl Miller, Cheryl Swoop, all them girls. Them girls could play. I mean, not to take them from them playing with guys, but I think they could, they might not have get a lot of time, but they could have been on the end of the bench. But I don't know how happy they would have been just being on the bench because they could play.
If a 7-foot female suddenly pops up somewhere in the world who's actually big and muscular, it might happen.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. You can't not say it won't happen or it will happen. I just say anything is possible, and if it does happen, I know everybody will be excited, and it'll be a lot of viewers. You guarantee that it'll be a lot of viewers to see how she will play with grown men.
I think a lot of them female back from the 80s and 90s definitely can play right now in the NBA.
Yeah.
Definitely think a few of them can play. They were just hard-nosed.
Yeah, Cheryl Miller, definitely. She wanted to.
There's a few of them can play right now.
Yeah.
They make a difference.
Okay. Now, Charles, I want to get into your story a little bit. The Last Dance just aired. It became ESPN's biggest documentary ever. You were in it. Right. And you originally joined the Chicago Bulls. And they kind of describe you as sort of like the team cop who kind of protected everyone, right. Protected Jordan against everyone else. You think that's an accurate description?
I don't know. I just, whoever I go, wherever I play, I always protect my teammates. So it didn't matter whether it's Chicago, Toronto, DC. I mean, I just always had my guys back, especially, every team need a guy that, when somebody on the team got your back, you can do your job, not have to worry about nothing. So I was just that guy wherever I went. That was my part of my game. I love the game. I love make sure guys on my team is happy, good situation. And I try to make it easy for them every night on the floor.
I can contest to that. Going against him, I can contest to that. He was the enforcer and made sure that, if you mess with one of his teammates, you had to mess with him. So, yeah, I can contest to that.
What do you think was the roughest situation between the two of you on the court?
The roughest situation between me and him? I've been knowing Oak since '89, since I came into the NBA. So me and him been friends. We had a bond. Yeah. I know exactly how, his temperament was. You could tell. You talk to him. He'd be like, not today. Not today. That means that, watch yourself today. Watch yourself tonight when you go to the hole. Just watch yourself. It's going to be a totally physically played game on his part. And but at least he warned me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my thing, when you're a big guy, got to chase a smaller guy around all the time, this and that. You try to, you don't try to hurt no one. I never played dirty like some of these guys just do stuff out the ordinary. And I did a lot of trapping. I just trapped him a lot of the guards. I had good, for my size, I had good hands. I could move lateral good. And then, they said, well, he's big, he can't move like that. But I was a good trapper. And that's what Pat Riley believed in defense. Trap, rotation, found your way back to the rim, this and that. So basically, we had some similar coaching under the same coaches. And just over basketball career, just, when he was with Golden State, I didn't see him that much until he got to Miami. It was more from seeing him 2 times now, it's 5 times a year, then the playoffs. But it was a battle. Every time we played Miami, it was a battle. Low scoring game. Basically, they know what we was going to do. We knew what they was going to do. Like I said, it was just who could make the shot. It might have been 79 to 76 or 81 to 83. But, hey, whoever scored the more points win, they say.
Well, when you joined the Bulls, this was Jordan's second year.
Second year, yes.
When you started playing with him, did you think this is going to be one of the greatest? Or was it just another good player on the team?
I mean, what I saw my rookie year, he was amazing. He went to All-Star game as a second year. My rookie year was his second year. But just what he did, he came to a team with a lot of bad toxic, a lot of drugs and this and that. And he still didn't let that sidetrack him. He still averaged 27, 28. But he had some great scores. Quinn Daly, Atlanta Woolridge. He had a lot of Dave Green, a lot of guys who like drafting the top 5 on the team. So he didn't get sidetracked, and he came to play. It was a lot of little stuff going on, but he was just he was a different guy. You can see by his play on the court. He wanted it.
Right. And after you played for the Bulls, then you joined the Knicks after that.
Right.
And you became a mainstay over there.
Right.
And then you actually started playing against Jordan and you put him on his back.
Well, you come to the paint. I mean, that's my job. His job is outside, mine's the paint. So it's some people buy a lot of real estate, some people have little real estate. So that little paint is my real estate. Outside, he can have all that real estate. But no, it was just part of the game. He knew the rules. It wasn't like nobody trying to hurt him. But when you come inside, we gotta let you know. I mean, you making my job. You come in my territory now. Now it's like, okay, I gotta let you know. It's still the same way. You gotta pay the toll.
Well, you said that when you were playing for the Knicks that you felt that Patrick Ewing held the team back.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Yes, because I think that it's just like you get your wing guys. You get your Jordan, the Kobe, LeBron, and them type of guys who can just do so much. And then when you get, I think that we had Patrick, he only could like defense or rebound. We had to wait for him to get in the post. We had to always wait. It was like wait for the light change, this and that. And sometimes we wait too long because, like I said, back in the older days, you only had so many seconds to get a good shot. And then if you didn't get it, you're not getting 2 good shots in one 24 seconds back in the days. It was tough. So your first good shot, you got to get it. Sometimes we had to wait too long, and then when they zone in on defense and the shot clock running low, you can't make so many passes. I mean, he was good at what he do, but I think it was the point it was for us to get over the hump. He wasn't that guy.
Well, you ended up reuniting with Jordan in 2002 when you joined the Wizards.
Uh-huh.
What was that Jordan like compared to the one you played with the Bulls?
No, he was still, trying to show the guys that, hey, even though I don't have the same skill level, but I'm out here playing, I'm going to never miss a practice. Always last one, first one done, last one leave, even though he was 47 years old. He was just a warrior. You can see he lost some of his skill level, but Jerry Stackhouse was there. That was one of his competitive edges. Him and Jerry, they was going in it in practice. And I think Jerry felt left out because Doug didn't pass the torch to him. And even though Mike was older, thought Mike should have took a step back. But Doug was still feeding Mike. And Jerry got a little pissed at that. And, when you get a legend like that still on the team, you almost still going to have to let him know he's still the face of the team.
Well, you ultimately retired in 2004, was it?
3.
Okay. What was the final straw? Because you were still in shape. You were still doing your thing. You're still a big dominant force. So what made you say, okay, this is going to be my last game?
I don't know. It just happened. I think nothing special. I mean, I probably could have kept playing, but the league was just changing so much. It's just like when you come up in life and things like, like, okay, well, it's changing so much it ain't for me no more. Because just guys, you seeing guys that don't care for the game that much. And that hurt me to see that late in my career, that management don't enforce guys to work on their game to get better. And that was like, all right, really? Well, we don't have to work on post up no more because we don't shoot post, run post plays. I just want to shoot jump shot. I said, you never know. Well, you might have a mismatch. You never know. But it's a lot of, they start just selling for stuff. And that's why you see the teams that don't get better. That's why you see the teams keep getting the lottery every year, keep getting a draft pick, but they can't put it together because players is really dictating the league now, and management and even who are running the league and let these players get so involved is you can't hardly say nothing to them. It's real sensitive. And, everybody want to be like the big shot. Like 1 through 12 think they're a superstar now. Back in the days, maybe your top 2 or 3 players and everybody else knew they had to come in and play their role. Now, it's no more role. I don't think that they don't get it no more about the game. You got to put your work in. I don't think they don't put the work in no more. It's all candy coated.
Yeah, I just interviewed Craig Hodges, and he was telling me how when he first joined the San Diego Clippers, his starting salary was $40,000 a year.
Minimum salary in 1982 was $40,000. All right,
Wow.
it was $40,000. My first contract, my first 3 years in the NBA was $40,000, $45,000, and $55,000. All right. Now, the kicker in that is that they were make good contracts, meaning you had to be, in order for that $40,000 to be guaranteed, you had to be on the team on Christmas Day. All right? And on Christmas Day, the rest of your money was guaranteed. So those are the type of constraints that young players don't understand when you talk about pressures. Not the pressures of just playing, but the pressures of maintaining a contract level of play.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what, 80, that's probably what, 81, 82?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first year, I wasn't done my ninth pick. I was, what, 200,000? So it's probably, it's a lot of things.
82. Yeah, in 1982, he joined the San Diego Clippers. There you go.
I ran through Craig. Craig was a good guy, Craig was like Chuck D, militant.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, you believe in what you believe in. He still believes in what he believes in. That's one thing. Hey, you got to, Craig Hodges, hey, at least he speak up, So.
Did you guys play together for 1 year?
No. Nope.
Okay, so it was just
one. He came after I left.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was Kaepernick before Kaepernick. He was the one that gave a letter to George H.W. Bush talking about black people in America.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the last time he ever played, coming off of 2 championships.
Well. What Kaepernick said, hey, they try to twist it. Now everybody apologize about it. But it's just, most of all these people out here in the corporate world, they know it's wrong out here. It's just, they not stepping up like they should. We should have been changes hundreds of years ago. It shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to be fighting about it now. But we got to just, we got a chance now. So we got to keep fighting and hopefully we can make a difference. And, we just lost one of our great leaders from back in the day, Lewis. But we just got to keep fighting and hopefully that we can get some stuff in legislation. Some people can come together in the room, like get some people in there with some pens and paper and writing this stuff down, changes, not just talking about it.
Well, and this is a question for both of you. What do you think was the most racist thing you guys went through while playing basketball?
I don't know. I mean, I've been through racist stuff before I even got to the league. I mean, for basketball, I didn't look at it like that. Because, I came to, I was my grandfather from the South, so he was back in them. I mean, I'm old. I was back in the old days, and I went to school in Virginia, so I used to drive from Virginia to Cleveland, and I used to be on the highway, guys pulling beside me with shotguns, pointing them at me, and different stuff like that, But I talked to some couple people, and they said, I know some guys from West Virginia. They said, So it's just, I know a lot worse stuff been happening in that, but still though, you just shake your head. So I'm like, why? Why you gotta put your gun out? I mean, it's just some people do hateful stuff, and then you take your gun and shoot at them, you're wrong. So I don't know. I'm just glad I never had to, because it's a couple times I almost did. I'm glad I caught myself because I wasn't gonna start with one bullet. I was gonna imp it. Like the police, they shoot one, they're gonna imp it. So hey, that's my mentality. So if I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna imp it all out.
So you had a situation where someone pulled out a shotgun on you and you were armed
several
yourself.
times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's all right. I mean, it happened. My grandfather used to tell me that all the time. Stuff happened to him. So, but It happened.
Well, no, Tim, have you ever had anything like that happen to you?
I've been very fortunate in my life. I grew up in Chicago. I grew up fighting gangs, gang activity, trying to, put me in the gangs. It wasn't me fighting against the police. It was me fighting against gangs to stay out of gangs. So I was fortunate not to be in those type of situations that I hear a lot of, people that grew up in the South. I used to, when I went to Texas, El Paso, I heard a lot of things about the 1966 team that won the first black American college basketball team to start in the NCAA championship game against Adolph Rupp and Pat Riley.
Pat Riley was on that team,
and Pat Riley was on that team, Kentucky team, and they beat them.
And they wouldn't shake their hand.
But, I heard a lot of stuff about them leading up all the way to the championship and even the championship game. And, Bob McAdoo, him coming out of North Carolina and just a lot of guys coming out the South and what they had to go through. And it just, it hurts you, man. It puts a lost feeling in your stomach to hear some of them stories and feel what they actually went through. But like I said, I grew up in Chicago, and it was totally different in Chicago at that particular time in the 80s.
Well, I want to get into your story now. So growing up in Chicago in the 80s, and you talk about the gang situation, that's when you had the Larry Hoovers and the Jeff Forts. And now, I interview a lot of, gang affiliated rappers from Chicago, and they all tell me the same thing. There's little pockets here, there's a crew here, there's a street here, there's a block here, there's 10 people here, but there's really no overlying structure in gangs in Chicago. But if you go back to your time, Larry Hoover would literally bring thousands of people out.
Yeah. I grew up in a neighborhood where it was L. Rookins, Jeff Fort. So I grew up I used to go to school where Larry Hoover had his Black Gangster Disciples. So, I knew both gang members. And once they knew my dad, because my dad grew up not in the gang, but knowing Larry Hoover and Jeff Fort. And once they found out who I was and who, where I come from, I had like a little pass. So like I said, I was sheltered because of my dad. He was a playground legend, and all his friends, they was playground legends, and they was around it, and they knew, them personally. And so, like I said, I was very, very fortunate in them times where a lot of people wasn't.
Okay. You went to college, and then you were a first-round draft pick, and you joined the Golden State Warriors. What was it like to go from a kid in Chicago to suddenly being in the NBA, having money, and having your whole life change?
Different. It was different. But I grew up playing against NBA ball players all my life. Ricky Green, Isaiah Thomas, Doc Rivers, J.J. Anderson, Jeff Wilkins, and so on and so forth. Eddie Johnson, Terry Cummins, him and I went to the same school at Carver High School. It was just a whole lot. Mark Aguirre, Cassie Russell went to my high school too, and he used to come back and talk to us. So it was a lot of people, man, that I played with, and I just talked to and understood, how to just take care of myself. And they showed me the ins and outs. And I listened. Back then you listened to the older guys. You listened to the guys that played before you, even if it was 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you listened to those guys because they was there before you, and they went through the bumps and bruises that you're about to go through. And so moving out there, I was always by myself in El Paso. Even though you in a college town, You know, even though you're among teammates but you still new. You know, and I had to find my way when I was a freshman in El Paso, and the people there welcomed me with open arms. They was gracious, they was respectable, and they, you know, they took care of me. Just like the people in Golden State and Oakland. You know, at that particular time, drugs was really, really, really bad. And, you know, a lot of people, NBA guys, you know, Chris Washburn, thank God he got his life together. But, you know, he was, you know, he was on drugs really bad. And, you know, when I went out there, I coming from Chicago, I understood, you know, who was cool, who wasn't cool, who was a drug dealer, who wasn't a drug dealer, where to stay away from, who to stay away from, and all that type of stuff. And, you know, coming to a big city and to the Bay Area, I was very comfortable and I understood what to do and what not to do. So, you know, just making money, the only thing I want to do is just take care of my mom, you know, take care of my brother, because we struggled a lot, you know, and it hurts, you know, to go through that struggling period. But, you know, that taught me to be a man and how to be a man at a young age, and taught me what I need to do and how I need to do it, and what was important to me. And my mom and my brother, and taking care of them was very important to me. So that's why I always brought, you know, had this motto in me. You know, patience is a virtue, and don't try to speed stuff up. Let speed take its time, because it's gonna come to you. You know, and don't try to speed something up, because I tell these kids today, you know, going to school, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 years is not a bad idea if you're not ready. Because if you're not ready and you go early, you can't go back to school. You go back to school, get your degree, but playing basketball, that's over with. You got to go overseas. You got to go to the G League. And your purpose is not to go to the G League. Your purpose is not going overseas. Your purpose is to try to get in the NBA. So take your time, work on your craft, understand what you need to do and how to grow up and become a grown-up before you step out into that world. Because once you out of that limelight of college, where you still are sheltered, once you out of that limelight, you're on your own, and a lot of people are not prepared for that. So I was prepared for it, because I went to school 4 years. I listened to a lot of people, and you know, they educated me a lot. So I was good. I was good.
Well, you and Charles Barkley would go at it on the court.
What you say?
There was the in your face video that's real popular on YouTube.
I'm gonna tell you about this. All right, a lot of people don't know Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. That was a rivalry. You know, Mitch Richmond against Dan Marley, Chris Mullin against Tom Chambers, or whoever they had at 3. Me against KJ and Cedric Sabalas when he came off the bench. Me against KJ and Miguel Knight coming off the bench. We took attitude towards each other, and that was just a preseason game. You know, we was coming off. That was my first year, and then a preseason game. In my second year, we was playing at the University of Cal, where Kevin Johnson went to school at. And I was coming down the middle, and that was just the appropriate time to just start talking smack, because we was talking smack in the papers leading up to that. And man, you know, that just took us into the season. But that was our rivalry when we was playing against the Phoenix Suns.
Well, then there's the situation with the Nuggets where you threw the TV onto the court.
Yeah. I wish I could take that back. You know, that was my mistake. You know, I shouldn't have got upset at the referee because the circumstances. But hey, you know, sometimes you get in this volatile situation where you just want to touch somebody and you can't touch nobody, and then the first thing you see, you know, you touch. You know, that's what happened. But, you know, I regret that. I regret it because I don't want young people to see that, and I don't want young people to judge me on that. And you're not supposed to react to referees like that. And and my son, is playing the NBA now, so that's why I regret it. They still talk about it, they still show it, but me and him have a laugh about it, and I tell him, you better not do it though.
Well, right, because they actually try to plug the TV back in, but it
Right.
was broken.
Oh no, it was fucked up.
Well, didn't you end up signing it, and they kind of auctioned it off for charity?
Yeah. They auctioned it off for charity, and Daryl Armstrong came in there and said, "Hey man, I know you upset and all this. Now I said, I'm cool now." He said, "Let's auction this off for charity." I was like, "Cool." So I signed it, and that's that they did, or Daryl Armstrong did it for charity, which was great.
Well, in 2000, by 2013, you actually were the symbolic first signer for a proposition in the Florida State Constitution.
Yeah.
In terms of same-sex marriages.
Yep.
Because a few years earlier, you had made some homophobic comments.
Yeah.
On one of the radio shows. When you think about the comments you made back then, what do you think now?
They was terrible. A week after I made them, 2 weeks after I made them, it was more about my kids. What did I do to them? They had gay friends. I had gay family members. I still have gay family members, and I have to talk to them on a regular. And I had to make sure that they understand that I shouldn't have said those things, and I was wrong to say them, and because I made it all right for people to bully them. I made it all right for people to throw stones at them, rocks at them, to try to hurt them, to try to kill them, and I didn't want that. They should live their lives the way we all should live our lives as equals, and that's what we trying to do now is everybody live their lives as equals and equality, and so it's coming full circle around, and I try to help the gay community out as much as I can. I try to talk to if you're gay and you're trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. I try to talk to you and make you understand, hey, you have a right to be who you are. You have the right to stand on your own 2 feet. You have a right to walk around, and nobody has the right to judge you. And be confident about yourself, and don't be ashamed about yourself, and that's why I want the message I give to them. So I did a lot of work, talked to a lot of people. A lot of people was mad at me. Rightfully so. When I sat down with them, they told me how they felt, and I accepted it, And I talked to them, and I let them know how sorry I was about it, but I'm gonna make amends to it, and I'm gonna try to help everybody out in the gay community, the LGBT community, and make amends for it. And I'm still doing it, and I'm happy that I'm doing it.
Well, I think people need to realize that there's very different environments than 2020 back then. For example, if you listen to Eddie Murphy's first 2 stand-ups, Raw and Delirious, he's saying the F word left and right, and the whole audience laughing. No one makes a big deal out of it. This is the sort of thing, in your interview, you said, well, I know I hate gay people, so I let it be known. I don't like gay people, and I don't like to be around gay people. I'm homophobic. You look at that at 2020, and it's like, wow, that's extremely harsh. But it seems like you actually took it seriously and did a bunch of things very, very publicly. You could have just said, well, that's just the way it is. If you don't like it, then that's your problem. But you actually are front and center in terms of gay advocacy, especially in the NBA.
Yeah, like I said, I have family members that are gay, and I don't want them to be out there getting, bullied or getting stuff thrown at them, or getting kidnapped, or getting stuff done to them. I want them to hold their heads up. I want them to walk around and be who they are. And Yeah, my parents always told me, if you own up to your mistakes and try to make it better, and don't run away from them, and that's what I don't do that. If I say something, and if I made a mistake, I'm gonna own up to it, but I'm gonna try to make it better and try to change the culture and make everybody understand that was wrong for me to do that, and this is the way it should be. So yeah, I condoned it and I owned up to it, and I want to make it better. And I'm not scared to make it better, and I'm not scared to talk about it either.
Do you feel you're not in the Hall of Fame because of that statement you made?
No question.
We were just talking about that yesterday.
Yep.
We were just talking about that.
Yep.
It's messed up.
But, I don't have no control over it, and I don't think about it. I just live life, and I take care of my family, put food on the table, and enjoy my son playing the game of basketball.
Well, both of you guys are known for steals and rebounds. I guess you have the share. You have the second most steals in an NBA playoff game. And in terms of rebounds, Charles, you are just above Dennis Rodman. You have 51 more steals than he does.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'm sorry, rebounds. Sorry, 51 more rebounds.
Yeah.
Rebounds. Yeah. There you go. How do you think you compare to Rodman when it comes to rebounds? Because he's really known to be, a rebound guy.
I mean, Rodman can play basketball. I give him that. I think he just brought a lot of other stuff to the court. I played the game, not just defense, offense, whatever it took that night. He did a lot. I mean, I think 9 in and 9 out. He played with a lot of energy. I mean, he did one thing, just rebound and act crazy. So, that was him, and I think I had different. I could probably shoot better, jump shot, free throws, but you had to pay attention to him. He might not have the offensive skills, but he coming to the rim, so you got to block him out. He's the problem, especially when you're a guy who play hard and play with energy. He gonna kill you every night because he have that every night.
I tell you this though, Dennis Rodman knew who to mess with and knew who not to mess with. And he was one of the guys that he didn't mess with because he knew that after the game, he would have to see him. It might have been trouble after the game. Yeah, so yeah. Dennis knew who he could bother and who it can affect on the court, but he knew who not to mess with.
He knew when to wear the dress and when to wear the pants.
Right. Correct.
Well, Charles, you had the situation at Madison Square Garden in 2017.
Yeah.
When you look at it now, how would you explain what happened?
It's still what happened. It was some BS what happened. Ain't nothing ever happened. I mean, it's just messed up with what happened. I was only there for like 8 minutes, and just for someone to blame me for doing something I didn't do, and you as an owner, you put all these bad statements out. I have a anger management problem. I have a drinking problem. I played in New York 10 years. None of this came nowhere, and all of a sudden, you say I was sitting too close to you. Now you want to throw me on the bus. It's just some BS. It's just hard for me to get over something. It just hurt my, like my aunts, my mother, who raised me, know that, I was never a trouble guy. But someone messed with me, I got the right to mess with them. So, but what he did, and went on national TV trying to throw me on the bus and make sure I wasn't breathing for 3 or 4 days. But people said, no, wait a minute. You the bad guy. He's not the bad guy. So it was just some BS. And I think for the commissioner to never look at the tape, they took his side. You had to take his side. You never look at the tape. But we got the tape, went to the courthouse with the tape. They seen the tape. It's just some BS.
Michael Jordan actually got involved, and Adam Silver.
Michael Jordan shouldn't have got involved.
Okay.
My thing, it wasn't nothing for him to do. He's the owner now. So basically, we had a conversation, but his conversation not helping me because you working with the owners now. I'm just a regular guy on the street now. So what could he say to turn it around? It wasn't nothing that needed to be turned around. I mean, I'm glad he had my back. That was a time that I called and told him like it's not nothing that you can do for us. You call even though when I went to jail, he couldn't get me out. Like I told him, I had 100 people in line to get me out. I'm glad he always he had them thoughts about me, and like a couple times things happened in Vegas, he had called me. So I'm glad he always had my back, but it's just a situation that this man is 1,000% wrong what he did and get punished for nothing yet. Hopefully we in the court right now. Hopefully in September we come up with some kind of order from court and see what happened. But this man walking around you can't send 8 guys to a guy, sit down and then start grappling him for no reason. I can see if I would have robbed the place, ran to the guard, and they looking for me, they find me, okay, yeah, we got you now. But I didn't do nothing. And
right, because you're suing them right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, why
what exactly? What are the basis? What's the basis of the lawsuit exactly?
Just what over the time period, and basically, when I slipped and fell, I really jammed my leg up. So it just damaged, and just what I went through over the last 4 years, it's just wrong. I mean, whatever. I don't know what's gonna come out of it, but it's just something need to be done to that man on a serious basis. Not just they always say, well, he got a lot of money, he this and that. I say we see a lot of people got money, but right now a lot of people got billions of dollars, but they can't go to another country right now. So sometimes money can get you in trouble.
Well, I could tell you how you and I met, and I'm pretty sure you don't remember this, but it was at the Jordan party in New York, right? And we were, my man Reggie Saunders from Jordan Brand put me and my man on the list, and you were walking in, and we were walking kind of behind you, and you turned around and you put your hand on my chest and said, "Hey man, don't play me like that." That was in New York. It was real cold outside.
Down, yeah. I don't know. Could have.
So I have this giant hand on my chest right now. Like, all right, I ain't gonna play you like that. I wasn't actually trying to sneak in with you. I'm not a sneaking kind of guy. I've never stuck in a party.
I don't know. I try to always make things right. I'm a guy who make things right. I remember about KD came to the Jordan party with some. I think we was in Denver or something. He came with some sweatsuit on, this and that. I like KD. I know he was young in the league. Like, you can't be coming no party with no sweatpants on, this and that. It was funny though. Everybody was like, "We see you said that something to him." I mean, but it is what it is. Younger guys, I'm glad they like me, they listen, but it's just NBA is, it's a different league now.
Well, Tim, your son plays in the NBA. How is it for a father? Because look, you're gonna hand down certain physical attributes to your child, right? Height, strength, whatever. But there's lots of big, strong guys that do never make it in the NBA. How does it feel to have your son follow your footsteps? And then you followed your dad's footsteps as well as a playground legend.
It's words can't describe how I feel when I'm in the stands, when I'm watching them on TV, when they talking about him. He's just a leader out there on the court. He just takes after me because I always took him to the gym. When he was 6 months old, I used to stroll him in the gym, prop him up, watch us play basketball. He'd sit there and was quiet all over, just quiet. And then once we stopped, he'd start crying, But he just loved the ball to bounce. He loved the action. And, every time I was able to take him to the practice, I took him to practice. Every time I was able to, he'd come to the games with me and he'd be out there being a ball boy, passing it back to the coaches or passing it back to the players. Shooting horse with Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Sean Leonard, Jamal Mashburn, Dan Marley. He was doing all that. So just to have him follow in my footsteps, words cannot describe, or just to have him in the NBA, words can't describe how I feel. I'm like the joke. I have a smile from ear to ear, and I just enjoy watching him play and watching him out there being a leader, and telling his teammates what they need to do, how they need to do it, how to pick up their game in certain stages of games, and actually, sometimes taking over games.
What do you think was the moment when you said, okay, I know this kid's going to make it in the NBA. He's not just my son. He's actually going to make it.
I knew when he grew to be 6'6", he started not shooting the ball. I knew he could shoot, but starting putting the intangibles in his game. Dribbling, playmaking, seeing the floor, understanding the game, basketball IQ of the game. And, like his freshman year, at Michigan, I knew he had talent. I knew he had talent to make it to the league. But at that time, you know that he's not ready to take that next step. It's still, some things he needed to learn and how to play and to get stronger. Once he became a junior, after they lost in the NCAA finals, 2 weeks later, he was like, I'm ready. I was like, yeah, you are ready. You ready to go to that and take that next step. So as a freshman, I knew he had it, and I knew that he had the skills and the wherewithal to make it to the NBA. But I didn't tell him. I'm not going to tell him. I'm just going to wait until it plays out. And his junior year, I was like, yeah, you ready. You ready to take that next step. And I'm glad you came to me. I wasn't going to tell you. I'm glad you came to me and asked me, or really told me that he was ready. And I said, yeah. So, yeah, about his freshman year, I knew he had the talent.
Well, in The Last Dance, one of the things that got covered was the murder of Michael Jordan's father. And there was always conspiracy theories that has something to do with his gamblings, with the mafia and so forth. I actually interviewed Daniel Green, one of the guys that got convicted for killing Jordan's father.
One of the guys you said got convicted?
Yeah. Yep. Two guys got convicted, Daniel and Larry. I spoke with Daniel. It was a black kid and a white kid. Daniel was the black kid. He claims that he didn't kill, that he wasn't the trigger man, but he claims that he helped his friend get rid of the body. But then they drove around in Jordan's father's Lexus for a week, made 40 phone calls to their friends from the cell phone. And then the guy I interviewed made a music video wearing Jordan's father's ring and the championship watch on his hand.
Wow.
Both guys got life in prison. This was by far the saddest, stupidest, most tragic story I'd ever heard in my entire life. These were two 18-year-olds from a trailer home, from trailer parks.
Wow.
That did this. Have you guys ever heard this part of the story before?
I haven't heard. It's a lot of different stories, and I know it hurt him so much. We never really talked about it. It's just a point of, I don't know, they say he pulled over to the side of the road, and then one time somebody say he pulled over to somewhere else, and I don't never think they're gonna get all the real details, but they said they caught the guys. I don't, is them the two guys who really did it, or just
those are the two guys that really did it. Who the trigger man was, we're never gonna know, because they're just
these two guys still in jail, or they out?
These guys are both in jail. One of them, Larry, is supposedly up for parole soon, but the other guy is still in prison.
Did he say why he did it?
Well, the guy I spoke to claimed he didn't do it. He said that he was just helping his friend out. The story that they heard that basically was described to me was where Jordan's father pulled over. It was next to this motel that was kind of like a drug spot, like a drug prostitution spot. This guy, Larry, was a drug dealer and was going out there to make a sale or something like that. And at that point, I think Jordan's father had fallen asleep. It seemed like it was probably a robbery that turned into a murder. And then they went and hid the body and then basically rolled around in his car and flashed around his jewelry.
That was done right around when Maroon,
Maroon
Lexus. It wasn't a lot of them out, especially in Carolina. So
yeah, and back then cell phones weren't really a thing. So there was a built-in cell, one of those built-in car phones in the car.
That's
and they drove around calling all their friends and family from the phone. That's actually how they caught them. Through the phone records. And a lot of the reason why I did it was because to just get rid of these stupid conspiracy theories. Like it had nothing to do with
I don't think my thing then they said it was about gambling. This and I don't think it had nothing to do with gambling. Because I mean, that's the case. Shit, many games they won every year. It's like people just want to put something bad out. But just sad something like that happened.
Yeah. And once the Last Dance started airing on ESPN, they actually moved the guy interviewed Daniel into cell number 23.
Wow. Really?
Oh man. I mean, why?
What did you think about the Last Dance? You think? I know MJ he started. He was drinking and talking, and he got the last. I think a lot of people was mad because they see when they interview you, they ask you a lot of questions, but at the end of the day, he got to control the remote control. A lot of guys pissed because they asked him stuff and they made these statements, but I guess he might not like what they said, so okay, we'll back that up and go another way. See, a lot of guys feel like they were thrown under the bus.
Well, yeah, I remember when I interviewed Craig Hodges and I said, what do you think about the way Jordan was portrayed as being verbally abusive to his fellow players? And he's like, what are you talking about? This is what we do all the time. This is just so normal in practice to trash talk each other. I do it to him. He does it to me. But the way it was presented in the documentary is like, this guy's like this abusive guy.
Nobody is harder on you on a professional level than your teammates. So I guarantee you, if a baseball player is going through a batting slump, some of his teammates coming by telling him, man, you can't get your way out of a wet paper bag. And it's the same thing on the pro level. Oh, man. So we would have shooting games and somebody's going through a shooting slump and you tell them, coach, don't put him on my team. So it would be times on how are you going to bring your muster to make sure that you're ready. And that's the thing that I applaud Scotty and Horace and BJ and Stacy and Scott Williams on how they accepted understanding what this thing is about work and how you come to work every day and this is your workplace, this is your work environment, and this is how we get out. And when MJ may throw some jabs at you, I'm your big brother, I'll take that jab. And now, yeah, brother, we ready to come at your ass. Let's go. And it wasn't going to be no thing where we going to have any type of clicks in this thing. Yeah, you the big money maker, but inside this little thing that we call practice, it's a hierarchy, and it's one motherfucker, and that's Phil Jackson. You feel me?
I mean, you played with him. I mean, is that pretty much accurate what I said about Craig?
I mean, shit. When Pete Myers, I was in Chicago. Pete Myers was the only. I tell everybody to this day, Pete Myers was the only guy you talk shit to Jordan every day in practice. Every day, Pete Myers, Tim Norton, one of my best friends. Pete Myers every day in practice. You tell him, Jay, you always like lace them shoes up real tight, 23. Because Pete Myers, I tell everybody, Pete Myers might have made him better than what he was because Pete Myers was a 6'6" guy. He can move and he can defend. So basically, when he got to that challenge in the game, he's seen this every day in practice. A guy mobile, 6'6". He knew how to get up under you, know how to move right to left just enough to get his shot off. So basically, he was training through Pete Myers for the guys when he got into the court. Remember he came back in LA, we played in the bubble, how he said all the guys he was playing against that next year in the bubble, all the wing guys, and then the bubble from that Space Jam. So all them guys was in the bubble. So, it was playing every day. So he studied these guys, all the twos, all the threes. So basically, that was a summer of getting back acclimated with guys, wing guys on the court. But, I mean,
I mean, you were in the documentary. I mean, how do you think you were portrayed in it?
I wouldn't portray it in a bad way. I mean, my job wasn't never a job, that you can. All I do is show up and do what I do. Like score 20 points, 10 points, 15 rebounds. My job is to be consistent and hold the paint down or whatever. Some guys get caught into their own emotion. That's what I think. A lot of guys, But a lot of these guys on that championship team, I think they give them a lot of credit. Ain't that good? But since they was on the team, they hyping them up. But I think it was overblown in some ways. Some guys, even though Steve Kerr hit some shots here and there, Scotty probably feel like he was throwing the bus a couple of times. Horace. But like I tell them guys, y'all played with these guys 5 or 6 years. I mean, it wasn't like, he was saying whatever he said on TV, he was saying it in person too. He might not say it a lot, but I don't know. I guess it was good to watch for people being in the house for 2 months doing nothing. And it came out at the perfect time. It had a lot of attention. The number was high. People got to see another side of, well, I guess they think another side of Michael, but like I said, I've been around him 30-something years. And, he always talked trash, but, he limit his trash. It's according to who he talk to, Some people he talk more to, some people he talk less to. So, when he talk a lot to you, you got to step to him. You don't step to him, you got to blame yourself.
Well, this is a question for both of you. I looked this up. 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years.
5 years.
Now, Charles, you started a whole bunch of businesses. Like, I remember I saw this huge list of companies that you started. Like, what businesses are you currently running right now?
Was this Oakley agency that our foundation, the Play Robin Hood, and that's about it.
Okay, because you had nail salons, hair salons.
Oh yeah, that was
car washes, laundromats.
I still got the car washes. Yeah,
steak houses. Like I'm looking through this list. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Just little stuff. I mean, hey, everything add up. But just try to keep the name out there. Keep everything balanced. But yeah. For the guys going broke, I don't think guys go broke. It just sometimes they mismanage it. Sometimes agents don't do what they're supposed to do. That's why you never give them full control of what you got. Better have 4 eyes than 2 eyes sometimes.
Tim, what was your secret after you knew you weren't playing in the NBA anymore and you knew that huge check wasn't coming? What did you do next time? I mean, at that point.
At that point, well, I was already transitioning. I had, I'm president of a watch company, Banneker Watches. Urban Radio. I'm involved with Urban Radio. We have about 16 radio stations throughout the Midwest and the South. I'm involved with this new dribbling device called Dream Dribble. That it's like it's a device where you could dribble inside of your house without making any noise, and it's for people that want to learn how to dribble and need the fundamentals of how to dribble and not just dribbling on the floor and making a lot of noise. And what's his name? Jimmy Butler, he should have had it in his hotel because he wouldn't have been making all that noise in his hotel and the security wouldn't have came up there. So it would have been nice for him to have it in his hotel, dribbling the basketball on it, working on his dribbling skills. So, but yeah. I've been involved in various business here and there. I just got my own Hardaway Enterprises, and we're about to do some stuff. So I'm still active. I'm still doing a lot of stuff and making sure my son is well taken care of, and my 2 girls.
Right. I actually looked up the Dream Dribble, and it's like a T-shaped trampoline in a way.
Yep. It shows you. It spreads your legs out so you could be well balanced. You don't dribble with your legs too close together. You dribble with your legs so you be well balanced, shoulder width apart, and you have your butt down, your head up, and you just dribbling, you know, the right way, fundamentals. If you look at people or kids, when they first start dribbling, they dribbling the ball like this and they looking down and they not really looking at what, you know, you need to look at. You know, in basketball, you need to be your head up and you need to be looking at your teammates. You need to be looking at the defense because they might be stealing the ball away from you. So it's a lot of things that's going on while you're dribbling. This is to help you dribble the ball correctly with fundamentals, and it's all about repetition. Dribbling the ball the correct way, crossover, you put it behind your back, you put it between your legs. And the best part about it is you're not making any noise in the house where your parents are upset. Yo, Tim, stop bouncing that ball in the house. Or Joy, stop bouncing that ball in the house. It doesn't make any noise, so they don't have to say that.
Yeah, man, it's dope. I'll go ahead and show a little clip of the video if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's great.
So people could actually see.
Hello? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What? Hello? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Hey, Jay, can you stop bouncing that ball? Ah! Jake, I wish you'd stop bouncing that ball. I can't hear myself think. Look at this. What a problem I've got.
Hello there.
Tim Hardaway? 5-time NBA All-Star? Oh.
It looks like you need to get your life together. What you need is this. Dream Silencer by Dream Dribble. It silences a bouncing basketball and it also enhances dribbling skills. As you can hear, the ball is very loud. But with Dream Dribble, you can't hear nothing. Silent. When you dribble a basketball, it's all about rhythm. And when you think about rhythm, it's about dancing. When you think about dancing, you're thinking about music. And when you think about music, you're thinking about the beat that the ball is playing on the floor or on this dream dribble. Like, you know, you pop, 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 you know, in and out, crossover, in between the legs. You could just hear the ball, or you could just see the ball as you're dribbling. You could visualize the sound in your head of music. And that's what makes you go, and that's what makes that rhythm to the basketball dribbling. When I was growing up, we used to go outside and be on the sidewalk. The sidewalk is a box, and I had to make it from this square to that square in between these guys trying to steal a basketball away from you. Dream Dribble helps you because if you look at it, you kind of dribbling in a box, except that your feet are wide and parallel to your shoulders. And that's how you dribble. You never dribble the ball straight up and down. You always in a bend position. You can move your feet and move your hands to guard the ball. And you can always be ready to spin, be ready to cross over, be ready to put the ball behind your back, be ready to put the ball between your legs, or just straight line go. The Dream Dribble helps you be in that box and be ready while you dribbling to get ready to do those type of moves. Now you can dribble whenever, wherever. You can fold it up and it stores anywhere easily. And you can take it with you anywhere. Dream Dribble. Dream Dribble. Dream Dribble.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're coming off the whole George Floyd protest. And I mean, it's still going. You go to Portland and they just burned up one of the police stations. When you look at sports opening back up, and this is coming off of the whole Kaepernick thing where he got blackballed for kneeling. Now they're allowing people to put messages on the back of their jerseys.
Put what on the back of their jersey?
Messages or names.
Names on NBA
names.
Yeah.
When you look at that and you look at people protesting in professional sports, I mean, number one, how much of that did you see during your day?
None. You didn't see none of that during our day. The guy that we was just talking about, Craig Hodges, he didn't protest. He was just speaking on some topics, and a lot of people they wasn't ready for it. Basically, a lot of people wasn't ready for it. 4 years ago, they wasn't ready for it. When Kaepernick did it. So, but enough is enough now. Enough is enough. It's time for equally, justice around the whole board, and people are getting stopped. Black people are getting stopped for no reason at all. And officers are out there lying and knowing that the African American don't want to go to court or don't want to pay money to go to court. So then they have a record on them. But if they had money to go to court to show their innocence, then it wouldn't be, that many of us in jail. I seen a guy on TV in Michigan. His brother, 20 years ago, his brother shot somebody, killed them, knew that he was going to shoot and kill them. They put both of them in jail. His brother wasn't even in the same city. And they know that. And they said, yes, you was with him. And he's still in jail today. And he's serving a 40-year sentence. And so, like I said, they always want us to tell the truth, but they don't believe that we are telling the truth. So if you don't believe us telling the truth, why you ask us to tell the truth? If you're not going to believe us, or you lying, and then they make up some other stuff. That's what the problem is today. You stop somebody, then you tell them, yeah, you was speeding. When they know they wasn't speeding, you just stopping them. Which is that's just lying. And then they go to court, and then the judge is like, no, that it didn't go that way. But you don't know how it went. You don't know when they turned on the camera. You don't know when they turned it off. You don't know a lot of things, but they go by what the police say because the police supposed to be right. No, the police is just wrong, and they know they wrong, and they know they doing us injustice, and they getting away with it. So enough is enough, and I like what the NBA is doing, letting them be on a platform to talk about it, because people want to hear us talk. And Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, all those guys are talking. And this is the platform to be talking, because you're going to be on TV all the time. If there wasn't a bubble, if there wasn't you going to play basketball now, then you would have to pick, and you have to have a camera crew over to your house. Then you have to go to the station. Right now, you don't have to have that. All that's going to be right there. And every day that you play from the 30th on, you could be able to talk about the injustice that was going on in this world today, in the United States today, and you can get your point across. And that's what I like about being in a bubble.
Well, yeah, I remember when I talked to Craig, and you may or may not know this part of his story, but when the Bulls were playing the Lakers, he personally spoke to both Jordan and Magic about not taking the court. Jordan told him he was crazy, and Magic said that's too extreme. Okay, so then in 91, the Bulls get to the championships.
Yes.
And you guys played the Lakers with Magic Johnson.
Absolutely.
Well, before game one, you actually approached both Jordan and Magic.
Right.
And you suggested that the teams not take the floor.
Right.
As a protest to the social injustice that's happening with black people in America.
And see, it wasn't just and that's I think my position at that point in time was we didn't have black owners, black management, black executives. At that point in time, we have an opportunity with 21 of the 24 athletes. You know, and that's one of the things I was talking to Horace Grant about that this morning because he called me to get clarification. And I was telling Horace, I was like, brother, when I was talking to y'all in 1991, half of y'all was looking at me like I had my third eye literally outside of my head. So when I would ask y'all, brothers, what about us boycott? It was so cursory to y'all. It was so like nonsensical. It was just a fleeting thought. So when I brought it to Magic and MJ, y'all didn't take it serious. I know y'all didn't. So it was, once again, it was serious to me. But in hindsight, could I have done it by myself and just sat down, but sacrifice that moment of work? Nah. And it wouldn't nobody care. So for me, I understood how they looked at it at that period of time. And I saw how easy it was for them to cast aside the fact of how much power y'all truly have. That y'all actually got power to make these changes, but y'all don't even consider it as a serious thought process. Y'all don't even consider it to look at in 1963 when Jerry West and Elgin Baylor said that we were going to boycott the All-Star game, and we got a Players Association out of that. So their willingness to do it back then in 1963 gives you the ability to be Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and whoever else has come after them, because we have all garnered on the sacrifices that those two players that we know of, let alone the unsung players that we don't know about who sacrificed so that we could get this bread that we making today.
Like I said, at that particular time, people wasn't ready for that. I mean, people wasn't ready for it, and especially in the 80s. I mean, they still not ready for Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan. They still get on him and his negative comments about him. But it's they don't want us to speak up. They don't want us to talk. And now it's our platform to talk. Back then, I mean, that was just, you gotta walk before you crawl. I mean, you gotta crawl before you walk. And at that particular stage, I think Craig Hodges was crawling, but he wanted to run and sprint first. So yeah, that was kind of extreme.
Well, yeah, I remember when I interviewed Chuck D just recently, and we talked about Jordan and LeBron. He said that the comparisons with Jordan and LeBron end on the court. Once you get off the court, there's really no comparison. Because remember, Jordan did the whole Republicans buy sneakers too thing, and he didn't want to support the politician that was running against Jesse Helms in North Carolina. Right. He wouldn't even take a picture with him. That was covered in The Last Dance. You fast forward to what LeBron is doing, and he's speaking out. He's putting money behind the causes and so forth. Jordan is putting some money behind it now, but it seems kind of like almost damage control as opposed to him really being passionate about these causes.
So to talk about comparing LeBron James and Michael Jordan stops on the court and it goes in a different place with LeBron.
Oh yeah, no, LeBron has done so much more off the court than Jordan that it's not even.
But I'm not even going to get into. I'm not going to get in the area of what Jordan isn't. But I'm saying, LeBron's time, he recognized who he is in this time and was fearless about going about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, you talk to Sal will tell you at that time, Craig Hodges was that man. He just wasn't the superstar.
Yeah.
John Sally would tell you, coming under the wing of Isaiah, never to be fearless. You walk, you like you 7'1", you don't be 7'1" and act like you 6'9".
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not playing small ball, you 7'1", stand tall, man. So LeBron is also evolutionary too. He's not revolutionary. It's the same thing even when people talk about hip hop. Public Enemy is revolutionary in hip hop. Things are evolutionary. It doesn't say revolutionary and evolutionary is better than or less than. It's just that evolution comes out of you, and you got to recognize to grab it and go forward with it, and maybe be revolutionary in some things, but things have been done before. You could carry it further, and that's what LeBron James does in sports. Talib Kweli has done in hip hop. He's him and Mos Def come along, and Black Star, they're evolutionary because they said we know where to take this and even be further fearless in it.
When you see what LeBron is doing right now, what are your thoughts of it?
LeBron been doing it the whole time, not just George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. He was Trayvon, and a few other killing in Cleveland. He just been behind all the movements. He always voice his opinion. He do stuff, social media that let everybody know he got their back. LeBron just a different animal. He's like what Ali did back in the 60s. Ali, Jim Brown, Bill Russell, them guys, But LeBron, he's showing special a leader on the court, leader off the court. And what he was doing, I think he was, in the last, like I said, 17 years he's been around, no one done it better. No one.
Well, Tim, you at your height versus your son at your height, who would win that game?
In my heyday?
Yeah, you at your height versus your son at his absolute best.
I kill him. I kill him. Because we grew up differently. I grew up, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to take your heart out, I'm going to step on it, I'm going to show you that you ain't shit. That's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. I brought my son up in a totally different way. That's how we bring up our kids, because the way we grew up, we don't want them to grow up in that way. So as I tell, Steph Curry, Thompson, my son, Kobe Bryant, and all them guys that had fathers that played in the NBA, they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. They grew up, in a way where, we kept everything away from them. So they had to learn on their own in different type of ways. So I grew up in a way where I was fighting gangs, running from gangs. It was a lot of dangerous stuff going on in Chicago. But that's, I grew up differently. And so I had the killer mentality. Every time I stepped on the court, I had something to prove. I always had something to prove because I was always short. I always had to go up against the so-called biggest and best. And I knew that I was better than them, but I still had to go up against them and show them that I was better than them, and I'm going to be better than you each and every day. And that was just my mentality from day one, from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, on and on and on. So in my prime, in my son's prime, I would destroy him.
Does your son ever give you a hard time about that one game on December 27th, 1991?
December 27, 91, what was that? Against
That was against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, you know what? He wasn't born into 92. So,
okay.
I mean, but I don't think nobody even tells him about that. And I tell him, I said, man, I went 0 for 19, in the game. But the next game, I wasn't even, I took the very first shot. And my teammates knew I was going to take the shot. Don Nelson knew I was going to take the first shot. The team that we played against the next game, I think it was the LA Lakers, knew I was going to take the first shot. And I made it. So, that's the different temperament and mentality that from then now, my son probably, would have waited 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then the crowd would get on him and, shoot the ball, and his pressure would mount it. I got the pressure off me right away. Bam, let's go. That wasn't nothing yesterday. But we won the game. See, we beat Minnesota. We won the game. I had like 12 assists. I had like 8 or 9 rebounds. I had like 4 or 5 steals. So, I know the game.
Right. I guess it's the NBA record for the worst single game shooting performance ever in the history of the NBA.
Yeah. And you know who almost broke it? Mitch Richmond. About 3 days later, he almost broke it. He's like, "Oh no, I got to make a shot. I got to make a shot."
I mean, what was that locker room like afterwards? I mean, I guess you guys won the game, so nobody could be that mad. But
we won the game. I shot
Don't
over
matter.
19. We won the game. It's over with. I mean, if we would have lost, then I would have been, like, oh man, this is some BS. Dang. We won the game. I was happy. As long as if we won, I was happy. It don't matter if I would have went over 30. We win the game, I'm happy.
right, because you have the Miami Heat's all-time record for 3-point field goals, 806. Damn.
Yeah, I was letting it go. Sometimes me and Pat had a conversation about that. Yo, Tim, you shooting the ball, threes too much. I need for you to shoot some twos or go to the hole and make a play. I was like, look, man, if I got the shot, I'm gonna take it. But we came to an agreement.
Well, and you actually got your jersey retired with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Great. Every time I walk in that arena, every time my son walk in that arena or my family walk in that arena, you look up, your jersey is hanging. I mean, it's like, man, I just smile, I just reminisce and think about a lot of things, all the gifts that God gave me to go out there and compete, to play the way I play, to do the things I did out there on the court, and the competitiveness that he gave me. That's what I think about. And I look up there and I say, thank you.
Well, Charles, your jersey hasn't been retired yet by the Knicks.
No, probably.
Is it because of that whole incident?
No, but they haven't retired Bernard King jersey, so he's a Hall of Fame. I mean, I didn't look at my jersey to be retired. If they ever do, I appreciate it. But hey, I just play the game for the love. It's like they said the Hall of Fame. I said they're gonna have to build a special room when they put me in the Hall of Fame, because I'm gonna be the only one in that room. All the other, so-called power forward, I need a room by myself.
Are you still banned from Madison Square Garden or no?
Yeah, if you ban me one time, I'm always banned.
Okay.
They banned me twice in like 6 months. So, I mean, really? I don't know.
Oh, they banned you again?
Huh?
Oh. So they banned you again afterwards? Because I had read somewhere that they lifted the ban.
I don't know. I didn't look. Once they said ban, I ain't looked back into it. So that was another petty move. How you gonna, what's the big deal about a ban for 6 months? A ban, if you ban, let's show you how your mindset is fucked up. That's what it is. What is the ban gonna do? I mean, just to say I banned him because he's a black guy. Really? Go kick rocks, motherfucker.
Well, then remember Spike Lee had a situation also in Madison Square Garden.
That was petty. So he came in the wrong interest after 30 years, and it's just petty over there. Stress and petty over there. People just every day go to work, stress, go home, stress. It's a bad, toxic environment over there. But one day somebody gonna write a book on it and spill all the beans. I'm waiting for it to happen. But they know, NBA know, but they ain't doing nothing about it. It's worse than the situation was in the Clippers with Donald Sterling.
Really?
New York situation is a lot worse.
So you're saying there's more racism with the Knicks than with Donald Sterling?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
It's a plantation. They always talk about he hired more black people, and I tell everybody, who working on plantation? Black people. You got 16 players, I think 15 of them black. I mean, you hired in the last 5 years, you hire a lot of people, but they have no control. I mean, so it's just like Rosa Parks said, you can't sit in that seat, but then you sit in the seat, then you tell me I gotta go to the back. It's just bad over there. A lot of guys I play with, they know it's bad, but they can't say nothing. So it's just one of them things. And to the league, and to the commission, and all the other owners, I talked to 20, 30 owners 20 and some owners in the league. When that happened to me, and they was all like really down, sad, this should be happening. You know, it make all of them look bad. But not just that, they keep doing stuff. The same team ain't won nothing in 50-some years. The same situation keep coming out of the same organization every year. Something happened, always in New York. New York ain't made the playoff once in the last 20 years. I mean, if I'm on them, I'm like, why we got to keep putting up with this mess in New York? Force this man out of there.
The last championship that the Knicks won was 1973.
Yeah.
47 years ago. Right. Exactly. Well, the year I was born is when the Knicks won the last championship.
You were born in 73?
I was born in 73.
Wow, okay.
Right.
They've been to the finals twice since then, but...
Yeah. I mean, you know, you saw how long Carmelo was there. I mean, trying to do what he could do. I mean, why do you think that the Knicks really don't have a winning team in such a long time?
They don't have good people around. I mean, you hire and fire every 2 or 3 years. You don't build nothing. They haven't built nothing in 20-some years. You know, they think is like, let me get a marquee player and hope we can do it. No, you got to have the right guy to build a team, a guy who can make other guys go. Carmelo was good, but he wasn't that guy. They was better before they even got Carmelo, really. But Dolan wanted Carmelo. Donnie Wash, he wanted to keep the team they had with Mario, all of them, Garnella, and all. They was winning. Wilson Champ, they was winning. I mean, it was, you know, but Dolan wanted Nella because he had a name, a brand. And I think that he's that type of guy. He liked to be around people with names. You saw he just bought into the Tile Group, right? He bought 40%, 45% of them because he wanted to be what's going on. You see him at the game, he got 5 or 6 modelers. He wanted to be what's happening. You know, so he had the money to put the show on, but at the end of the night, the show is taking an L. You know, he don't care. He just like having fun. See, like, you know, he got his own. He got his own band group, a rock group. Now, who want to see him in a rock group?
Especially in a town like New York City, where it's just the center of everything. Like New York wins all across the board. You know, the most money, the best nightlife, the most expensive real estate. Like, you know, we have our main office in New York City. Like, we have to have an office there. And yet, the Knicks, being the most popular team in that entire city, it's been almost 50 years.
But he ain't made it a bad destination. The young guys they don't care about New York. You know, New York is the mecca of basketball. The young guys don't care about basketball, mecca, this and that no more. They all into themselves. So what he doing is hurting the brand more because he don't know how to adjust. He ain't bringing the right people in and know how to adjust to what's going on out here with the younger kids. You know, when you brought Phil Jackson in, I knew that was going to be a disaster. Only reason why you brought Phil Jackson in is because the ship was sinking. 2 or 3 years, you know, plug it went right back down. So now he got Leon Rose and all them guys. I mean, yeah, they got some players there on the contract, but you bring some guys that never dealt in a position before that he working at. So you can't keep bringing these guys in and putting them in a position because they got a name. It don't work like that.
Okay, last question to each of you. Top 5 players of all time.
Top 5 all time.
Tim, you can start.
MJ, Magic, LeBron, Tim Duncan, probably Wilt Chamberlain.
Tim Duncan. You don't see Tim on a lot of lists.
I mean, I'll take Tim over Mikal because he can do more. Pick and roll, he can pass. Mikal just post up, give it to him. But Tim Duncan can block shots. He can run the floor better. Karl Malone, never could make nobody better. I mean, so I had to go with Tim Duncan at the power forward.
All right, Tim?
Kareem, Hakeem, I take Larry, Mike, and Magic.
Okay. You put Larry Bird over Michael Jordan.
Now I said Mike and Magic, MJ and Magic.
Okay, but you put Larry first. Are you going 1 through 5 or just a random five?
I'm just. You said any 5. I mean, what? I mean, you want me to go first?
Yeah, first to last.
All right, MJ first.
Okay.
All right, that's number 1. Now this, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar first.
Okay, so stop there for a second. I've heard a few people like D.L. Hughley puts Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over Michael Jordan. Why Kareem over Jordan?
The sky hook. You can't stop the sky hook. He got 36,000 points.
He's special.
You know, he's special. I mean, look, come on, man. If he would have played his freshman year, he would have won 4 championships at UCLA.
Yeah.
All right. So I put Kareem first, Michael Jordan, Magic, Larry Bird, then Hakeem Olajuwon.
So Kobe's not on that list.
No.
LeBron's not on that list.
No. I love him.
Okay.
I love him. You know, but I mean, hey, that's my list.
Okay. Now, Charles, would you put Kareem over Jordan? Even though, knowing him by playing with him?
Jordan is the best player of all time. So I'm going with Jordan. I know Kareem was special, sky hook and this and that, but I'm going with Jordan.
I remember D.L. Hughley felt that Kareem doesn't get his just dues.
He don't.
Because he changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And the only reason that we don't talk about him like we talk about Jordan is because of his name, and he wasn't media friendly or savvy.
Right. And we talked about this. There's Muhammad Ali, who changed his name as well to a Muslim name. But Muhammad Ali was very media friendly.
But Muhammad Ali wasn't accepted by America until when?
Till he got sick.
Right. Till he was weak, and they saw him as him. When he ran up those stairs shaking that torch and everybody ran home and blew their pilot lights out, then they accepted him.
Nah, not just Kareem. He had one of them Bill Russell, Patrick Ewing attitude. They didn't know how to deal with people. But you look at Kareem, he did about 15, 20 books, but look at his lifespan in the last 15 years. You see he making a transition more into more leaning now. He been more speaking out now and da-da-da. And like Kareem, I thought you was more militant for your first 55 years. Your last 25 years, you got real soft. He changed his dynamic. You didn't see that in Kareem? How he used to be more militant?
Well, right, because remember he affiliated himself with that one ex-NOI member. Remember that whole part of the story? And there was a murder that happened at a house that he owned? You guys don't know this part of the story?
I heard that story.
What happened? He said the murder happened in the house he owned?
He had a spiritual advisor that he affiliated with that converted him to Islam. Right. He was an ex-member of the Nation of Islam. At one point, he started criticizing the nation. Not Kareem, but the guy. And, basically his home operation was a house that Kareem bought for him. At one point, some people came to kill that guy, but he wasn't home. They ended up killing a bunch of the children in the house.
Wow.
It was really a horrific story.
And Kareem owned the house?
Kareem owned the house, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, hold on. I'll actually get the name here. It's called the Hanafi Muslim Massacre of 1973 in Washington, D.C.
What month was that?
January 12th, 1973. Several Black Mafia members.
That was before.
Traveled to the home.
That was before the Knicks won.
Yeah. Just a horrible story.
Yeah, it's horrible.
A bunch of people got shot. A bunch of people got killed, and I believe the kids got killed. And the person who did it said that he wanted the offspring of that guy to be dead. That's why he killed him. It was it was a pretty messed up story.
I mean, but that's what happened back in them days. When somebody came after, they gonna get you. They ain't gonna leave until they get you. But kids involved, so that's crazy. Hey, next year my book come out, or whenever, we got to do this again.
We're going to do it again. I'm going to read the whole book front to back. We're going to talk about all the stuff that I don't know about.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. You probably know a lot of stuff. You ain't bringing it out. You got some stuff. Now, you ain't going to bring it out just, I know we going to have a good time. I'm going to tell, I'm going to call Chuck and tell him we just talked. That's my guy, Chuck.
All right.
Chuck.
I'm with it. All right, y'all. Well, definitely, once again, man, pleasure to speak with you. And,
all right.
Good luck in the new project that you guys are working on, the 5 tournament. And, I'm glad you guys are still doing your thing, still healthy during the whole coronavirus thing. Sounds like your kids are doing well. Congratulations on, Tim, on your son joining the NBA. And, man, all the best to both of you.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. You take care. Be safe.